I don't want to hear nothing no more about Tyrese Haliburton. Excuse me, my bad. Tyrese Haliburton being overrated. I don't want to. It's over. That's got to be done. Remake the list, recast the votes, and put. I don't want to hear nothing. Tyrese Haliburton with a master class tonight to go up 3-1 against the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. They had no answer. He was that good. Overrated players can't do what he did tonight.
At all.
Especially on this big of a stage.
It's
Do y'all think, Mace, you go first. Do you think this series is going to change the minds of the people who is voting on that list?
I think the first person that needs to hear this is Stephen A. Smith. He called Haliburton not a superstar. I think he took that personal. I think he wanted to show the world, mainly Stephen A. Smith, that he's him. He's heroic.
Ooh.
I like that.
Heroic.
I like that one.
Keep looking. ChatGPT, look out for your boy. Hey, Hallie Smooth, where you at? Hallie Smooth, huh? I wrote that down, man. Hey, Hallie Smooth got Sinatra ready to sing it. Sinatra on his way. New York, where you at? Hey, he's showing he's a superstar. Showing that he's here, and he wants his respect. Period. He wants his respect, man, and he got mine. He's gonna have my first series, but he's winning it over for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man. He got that Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan mentality where someone says something about him, they use it as fuel, use it as motivation, and he has done that from the first round all the way to the third round of these playoffs, man. I got to give him his props. In my eyes, just this playoff run, he's a superstar in his league, top 10 player. He's in that conversation now. He's in the conversation for a top 10 player in the league.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. After what I've seen this postseason, if you would have asked me that March, February, I'd have been like, nah, Haliburton, maybe a top 20, 25 player. Nah, bro is arguably in the top 10. If he's not in the top 10, he number 11 or 12. Right? Had a triple double in a pivotal game 4. Hit big time shots throughout the playoffs. Really what did it for me was when he ran back to that 3-point line. That's what that's what solidified it for me. But now he's done it 3 games in a row. He's I don't feel bad for him. For me, I feel bad for me saying maybe he shouldn't have been on the Olympic team and it should have been Jalen Brown. So I never disrespected him. I think a lot of it had to do with him playing in Indiana, man. Honestly, but when everybody got access to the playoff game, so there's no excuse at this point. You just hating. After tonight, you hating. In my opinion,
man. Welcome to the party, dog, man. This is the Tyrese Haliburton party going on right now. Do you think this series, not even just this series, this playoff run, really has changed the minds of the people who voted him the most overrated player?
I'm not sure it's going to change their minds per se, because I think we've all seen it in maybe throughout our lives, right, where somebody's just like too underrated, right? For me, I don't think he's done anything to change those detractors' opinions, but I do think to the average basketball fan, or maybe the coaches have already recognized it, but I think the competitor and players right now, I don't think they'll be like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna vote for him as perfectly rated or MVP status. I think they're gonna resist it as long as they can, because what I see it as is it's really just small market dude. The whole time he's been in the NBA, came from a small market college.
Mhm.
But I don't think he cares. And for me, that's what proved, like, to what Jelani was saying about him being top 10. And
Mhm.
I think for me, without any of my favorite teams or any of the main key players that we've been watching in the playoffs being there and him to take that stage. I mean, I told you guys I had the Pacers in 5, and I think he's a big reason for why that
Yeah.
happens, right? I saw
Yeah.
it early in the series. So to answer your question, man, I don't think he will change the opinions of, like, the people are gonna try to label him as corny or, hey man, the dude plays basketball with a great IQ, and he moves in a way that's very hard to predict, right? If you're a defender, you're moving laterally, you're just kind of like, what's coming next? Is it a pass? Is it a step over to the side to pull a three? Is a screen coming? So yeah,
See,
I'm just
hey,
amazed watching, to be honest. Yeah.
and I hear you, and I understand. Yeah, it's some people are just stubborn.
Right.
But like I said at the start of this, I don't want to hear nothing no more from nobody talking about he overrated.
Uh,
You could not like the man. You can hate him all you want,
Yeah.
but overrated now is disrespectful when it comes to Tyrese Haliburton. To see what he's done in this playoffs, to see he's one game away. Now, all of this could go terribly, awfully wrong for us. If the Knicks come back and win the series. But I don't think that's happening. I think we're safe. I think Ty has another, good game. And if it ain't Ty, it could be Siakam. It could be, Miles Turner could have a big game. I don't see the New York Knicks coming back in this series. But for him, like, all right, so superstar, that's been thrown out in this episode. We said superstar. I'm holding on to the title superstar. I'm holding on to it until he gets to the finals and what he does in the finals. I think that will let me know right then, like, oh, is this guy a superstar? But one thing that has changed in my mind, and I'm gonna ask you guys, we ranked coming into the conference finals. We ranked we talked about who was the top 3 players in the remaining in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that again.
Mm.
Let's talk about the top 3 players in the playoffs. Is Tyrese Haliburton in that, or has he? I think some of us had him 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 too low.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's too low.
Because
Boy.
I think at this point he might have. Because I think we all can agree that Shea is number 1 on that list. I think I got Shea number 1 on the list. But I think at a very 2A, 2B, I think I'm on the board where I'll take Haliburton over Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
I think he cracks. I think he moves over to the top 2 spot. I don't surpass Shea yet, but the way he's playing, I'll take him over Brunson.
And keep in mind, we talk about in the conference finals. We're not talking about all season. We talking about the 4 games we seen.
Right,
man.
right.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can do it.
You can say it. Go ahead. Your favorite. Everybody's favorite player is out of this list. Everybody's favorite player.
It's tough.
It
might be a 1A, 1B situation,
right?
With him and Shea, just because the clutchness, like, he's had to make big shots. He does it. He's efficient. He's doing the triple doubles. He's getting steals. I feel like Shea's numbers might be a little better, but I feel like Haliburton is impacting his team more. It's kind of like the MVP conversation, like, such and such is better, but this other guy is the MVP. Like, this is funny. I think I sent it to y'all. It's this funny cartoon online, right? And it's on Instagram, and they're like, the MVP is SGA, and then some aliens come, and they like, hey, we taking him because we're gonna have an intergalactic battle, right, with all these different universes and planets, and we're gonna take SGA to to represent Earth. And Adam Silver was like, hold on, take Jokic. He's the best player. And they're like, well, what do you mean he just won MVP? So like on paper, I'm still gonna say SGA is a better player, but I feel like Halliburton's been an MVP of the playoffs right now. And that's why I'm saying it's like a 1A, 1B situation.
Mm-hmm. About you, Adal, who you got? Top three.
For the top three, I mean, before the game started, the way Jalen Brunson was playing, I think in Haliburton, just this crash course, right? I don't know if you guys saw the stuff online about like the WWE kind of predicting the conference finals this year, right? With their cameos earlier in the year. So that was funny, but the fact that played out in real life, it almost catapults Haliburton because there's been a lot of clutch moments that have happened in the same run, right? If this was college basketball, for example, this would be someone would be having a legendary run, right? Taking their school towards the Cinderella run. So I would say right now, off pure impact and just having watched OKC play yesterday, I do think the teams are built the same way. So yeah, it has to be 1A, 1B, but Halliburton still has more to prove. And so I guess my commentary like would be that there is more impact like on the plus minus side, I think, being made by Halliburton. But the name of the game is to get buckets, right? And in these playoff games, both teams will be able to press the same way. And I wonder if Halliburton will try to pass and defer the way Anthony Edwards has, or if he'll be aggressive. And so that's where I think that I think the next layer of that goes. But the MVP announcement was just made. SGA is still top dog right now. Halliburton probably at the 2. And then I think the 3 is just Jalen Brunson on default. And that's why you're probably saying that earlier with the disclaimer of like, hey, I know Halliburton can go crazy but Jalen Brunson could go off too. So if I could have Jalen Brunson at the 3 right now, that's what I would do. Safe call.
Yeah, that's why I think I got him. I think I got him too. And this is the reason. I know this is the Tyrese Haliburton show today, but I got him at a solid 2 because he has had some games where not even his play fluctuated, but you just got a different Tyrese. Like that game was a game 3 or whatever. It was a different Tyrese. But I think at his best, I think nobody has been better than Tyrese, and really in these playoffs or whatever. As great as Shea has been, I think Tyrese has had the biggest impact on his team, like you guys said. I think he's had the biggest impact on his team. I think he's, like the overrated claims or whatever. Like I said, you can't make this type of impact on your team if you're overrated. Overrated guys don't shine in big moments. And he's done it this playoffs, and he's done it, in the past, but he's been in a small market. People hate him for whatever reason, but nah, he's him. He's him. He's one of those guys when it comes to point guards. He's one of the best point guards in the league, and he's trying to make a claim for being the best point guard in the league. I think about this. Like I said, we consider SGA a point guard. I'm assuming he's like one of them, hybrids. But he's OKC's point guard. if Ty, let me back it up. We talking about the face of the league. We talk about the face of the league. You know, Edward pops up. Jason Tatum pops up. SGA. You know, Luka Doncic, Joker, and you know, then there's the argument of or the debate of who's going to be that next American, you know, face of the league. If y'all know who I got winning it all. I think OKC wins it all. But if Tyrese Haliburton gets the Indiana Pacers past the Thunder to win the chip, he's the face of the league. Without question. Did the unthinkable. Charismatic. He was entertaining the whole way. He would have to be the face of the league. I wouldn't want to hear no more, SGA, especially if this, keep in mind, this is what's your saying, Mace?
If was a fifth, we all be drunk.
We all be drunk. So this is, this is a big if. This is a big if. But if he beats the OKC Thunder, he would have to be the face of the league. And he has the charisma to do it too. Like, the antics, like he's been the best show. That's what I think we all can agree on. Yep. Whether Shea has been better or whatever, nobody's put on a better show than Tyrese Haliburton throughout this entire playoffs. But he would have to be the face of the league.
And I agree to that because I think he brings both ends of the spectrum for entertainment. He got on one hand, he got a lot of fans, peers dislike him. But on the other hand, he got a lot of fans and peers that likes his game. I noticed a lot of retired NBA players like his game. They all say it's more of the outside stuff on why he's disliked, not his game.
Right.
So he has both ends of the spectrum to be hated and loved because this is America. You can't have one without the other. You gotta have somebody just like you got somebody loving on you. So he will be a perfect fit to be the face of the NBA.
I think he has the potential to be the face of the NBA. He's only 25 years old. Just
Young
turned
enough.
25. But if they were to win the chip, I wouldn't say that he's the face of the NBA yet. Because it's more than just winning with the face of the NBA. It's the entertainment aspect. And yeah, he's been entertaining the hell out of us this postseason. I mean, like, look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan beat Shaq and Kobe in a playoffs. Yeah. Tim Duncan was never the face of the league. He got MVPs, finals MVP. You would never put him over Shaq and Kobe when it comes to being a face of the league. So I'm gonna say no. I would hold that sentiment if Minnesota comes back down 3-1 and Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves win a championship. I would say Ant's the face of the league.
Yeah.
That's no diss to Haliburton. Like I said, I'm giving him his props. My bad that I even doubted you, bro. But hey, when I'm wrong, I can admit when I'm wrong. You feel me? But I just don't think even with this win, it wouldn't solidify him being the face of the league. We'll have to see what he does next season.
Fair.
That's very fair.
What you got, dog? What you got, man? I see your mind working, man. I see it's working.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to say, really. But to kind of just add, I would say it would make Indiana the capital of basketball because with Caitlin Clark there and him showing up to their games, the NBA would run through Indiana for better or for worse. I do think it's all like the ripple effect of what happened when LeBron left Cleveland the first time, and it started that conversation of small market, big market. But if the NBA is truly trying to go to a skill-based system, right? Because I'm a fan of international soccer, football. There's a system where, a lot of young kids are being developed to play every position on the field. And I think the way, let's say, like, for example, Serbia or any of the Eastern European countries, or like in Spain, the way the leagues in the Euro League and even the Basketball African League, they're developing a style of basketball that's very similar to how Halliburton and the Pacers kind of play, right? The
Mhm.
depth, college system, being able to knock tough shots down, having mental fortitude. So I would say right now, if you ask me who fits that bill, it's SGA so far. But I think Halliburton has an opportunity again to get that championship and be solidified, so that if that conversation continues, oh, he's overrated and this and that, and that narrative continues, how longer can you say someone's overrated when they can just pull out a ring and just show you, like, I've done it before?
Right.
And, he, and
So
he's and he's gonna show that thing off if he get it.
and that's where I
Oh.
stand, right? Because in yesterday's game, J Dub, Jalen Williams really did show up and was an important piece. But I
Mhm.
do think they both match up well, and home court doesn't really matter with either of these teams. So it'll come down to execution. And like I said at the beginning of this Knicks series, the Pacers, Halliburton at the head of the snake, it's hard to see them fumble too many games. They'll
Yeah.
always be in a game, and they've shown that historically against like crazy statistical odds. So
Hmm.
sometimes the proof is in the pudding. You can't deny what you see. So I'm waiting for them to falter before I disbelieve, I guess I should say.
Hmm.
Yeah, you made up a crazy point I never think of with Caitlin Clark and with
Indiana.
Halliburton. Like, what if both of them win the chip?
She got, that's her biggest thing. She got the fan base, but they got to accumulate more wins. That's the only thing that's stopping them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Their win loss ratio is on the losing end, and
yeah,
they got the eyes, they got the people in the seats, but they just got to win. And when they win, Lord have mercy, like
I'm
you
I'm
said,
Mm.
yeah,
it's
I'm saying, bro. And the new season just started, so like they can have a good season, make a run.
yeah,
And if both of them, I think that would, if the Pacers win, it will fuel the
for
fever.
sure, for
They
Yeah.
sure.
like we got to do it too. That'll
I
be dope.
think it would fuel the WNBA
Mm.
mm,
if the Pacers won
Mhm.
and the Fever won. I think just like a dog did or whatever. Like, we've been talking all playoffs and we haven't brought the WNBA into the conversation. But because of Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers and their success, it
Mhm.
makes you think like, oh, what if the Fever did it? What if Caitlin Clark, now, she's already the face of, WNBA.
Mhm.
But that would highlight the league in another level, which, the WNBA is definitely growing. The game is expanding. The women are getting better and better, and it's yeah. It would like I feel like more fans if the Pacers won, and then that narrative started of what if Caitlin Clark and the Fever win, even though like May said they have been a rebuild type team,
Yeah,
but if they won, because this, like Jelani said yesterday, who had the Pacers making it to the finals this year?
not a lot of bingo cards, man. I'll tell you
at,
that.
at any point, like at the start of the playoffs, nobody would put their money on Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers being in the finals, and they're one game away.
yeah,
One game away.
Yeah,
that's something to watch. And
Hmm.
you know what? But that's the good thing about the NBA, and I kind of like it this way. And yeah, we're used to the big market teams winning, and we want to see that because we want to see the city. But I like this because this is what outside of OKC, the Indiana brings that underdog. Like it's a true underdog that's going to the finals.
Hmm.
Well, one
yeah,
game away from going to the finals, and then you have your king of the NBA of this year. So that's a perfect matchup. That's your underdog versus your hero.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I like it. I like the narrative behind it.
No, for sure, for sure. It's just like March Madness. It's like March Madness. You know, you want to see the Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. You want to see them in the national championship, but you also love when it turns into Duke and Tallahassee State. The whole world
Shout
cheers
out
for
Tallahassee
Tallahassee.
State, man. We not taking shots.
Nah, I feel
Well,
it.
we for it. You love seeing it. You love seeing history being made, and if the Pacers, like I said, I don't think they have a chance against OKC. So let me be clear there, because I'm still with the Thunder over there. I would say the Thunder in 5, but let's back it up a little bit. If New York, or not if, does New York stand a chance at getting this series to a game 7?
Be tough.
Ooh, I'm gonna say they do. I'm gonna say they have a chance of getting into a game 7 for the simple fact that all postseason they've been coming back from behind.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. They did it in this series. They did it against the Celtics. I can't remember if they did it against Detroit. They probably did it against Detroit too. So it's in their nature. They've proven that they could come back. So game 5 is in the Madison Square Garden. They could win game 5, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then game 6, they've proven that they can win in the Indianapolis. So it's possible for them to get to a game 7. Now if they get to a game 7, that's gonna be crazy because it's in the Garden. That's the one thing they have on their side right now
Yep.
is if 3 games will be played, 2 will be in New York.
Yep.
So I think they got a chance. I think this is gonna be over in 6 now. My original take was Knicks in 7. Now I got Pacers in 6.
Oh.
About you, Mace?
It's over.
You like what you saying? Pacers in 5?
Pacers in 5. It is over.
Yeah, I mean,
It's over.
I seen him doing something. I didn't know what.
I'm trying to find something around here, man. Hey, look, it's over. I'm not gonna hesitate. Hey, look, Jalen Brunson, run, cat.
That's funny.
All right, hey, you tried, but it's over. 5. New York Knicks, quick picks. Pacers in 5.
that's hilarious.
Oh my god! Oh shoot! Oh. A dog. How do you follow that up, man? What you?
Hey,
the Knicks got a chance.
They got a chance because there's games to be played. There could be injuries that take place in the next game. God forbid, because you always want to see teams at full strength, but injuries are part of the game. Managing like highly stressful situations, but I can't imagine a situation where the Pacers drop 3 in a situation where they got to win 1. So just off the strength of that and seeing how like during the season, how they've tried to reduce like travel. I think if the Pacers want to get the proper rest, because it looks like OKC is gonna close out in 5. Just that mental edge, like you don't want to give your potential finals opponent that extra day of rest and recovery, extra day of film to focus on you. Although they know who they are,
Right.
the playoffs, different rotations, the small little details, and also the quality time maybe players will get to spend at home. I just look at it like if the Pacers want to be that team, it starts like the next matchup. They got to close in 5. I think what I saw game 1 is enough for me to stick to that. But if it gets to game 6, it gets really dangerous. But when I was a kid, I'll just end it with this. When I was just young, and let's say the Lakers were up in the same scenario 3-1 going back to the other team's home, I wouldn't even really stress about watching the game because I'd be like, okay, the NBA is going to try to make some money here. Now that was my whole rationalization. But as an adult, I do see the Knicks have everything to play for. So pulling out one game, I could see happening, but worst case scenario 6, but it's 5 right now until otherwise.
And I that last point is my whole point. I think it goes 6. I think it's going to be a very, very close game 5. I think the Pacers are going to play a really good game. But you think about this series, the Knicks got to this point, got to the conference finals, and didn't even get a win in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That's what they have to play for now. They have to play for the city of New York. And I think, I think they put that on their shoulders, and I think they get a hard fought victory in game 5. But I think they gonna put out, so much effort into getting that game 5 win. I think they're getting blown out in 6. That game 6, I think is gonna be bad. But I think I would say this season, and maybe I'm overreacting, but I would say this season is a failure for the Knicks if they got to the conference finals and couldn't get one win in Madison Square Garden. I think that's a failure. But
it's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's they waited all this time to get here. You can't get one. You got beat twice in game 1 and game 2. Then you get to come back game 5 and get put out. Get put out in MSG.
Man, can Spike Lee handle that?
Man, he's been handling it for the last 25 years. He'll be okay.
He'll be okay. But this is like seeing the opportunity to go to the finals be so close. It hasn't been this close for them, and I don't know if. What do you do at this point though? Because if let's say they do get closed out in 5, how do you rebuild in the offseason? You've pretty much stretched your roster and your resources to the bare minimum to have this squad. So is it? And this is something I asked Jelani about earlier, and I mean I fielded it to you guys. What is the result of this? Because it looks like the Knicks are heading to Cancun pretty soon. So how do we plan for what the offseason looks like for the Knicks, right? Because as a team, and I'll just compare it to this. The Pokemon evolution, right? We know Charizard as a kid, right? I would see there's a certain player that I would see a superstar that's potentially on the way to free agency. I see him as Charizard. I see Karl Anthony Towns as the Pokemon before him, and I'm sorry, I should have done a little research on the name of the Pokemon before him. Is it Charmander? But anyways, bro, I will just say a trade would be necessary on my end because there's just no way like Madison Square Garden gets filled out like that. People paid top dollar to watch that. You can't put. I wasn't even thinking of how bad that would look.
Yeah.
So how do you guys approach that if the off season is what it's looking like?
You gotta
moves have to be
Giannis.
made.
I gotta go after Giannis.
Yeah.
That's it.
You got I mean, you got what you need, to go get Giannis. You got what you need, but it's just, because how much do you believe in this team after, the falling short this way, and would you be willing to give up, Towns and Bridges or something for, to go get Giannis or whatnot. Then you got to think about, how does that work? Does Brunson and do you look at how Dame and Giannis fit, or and whatnot? Like I think I agree with Mason. I think you said it too, Jelani. It's gonna start with Tibbs. And I think that's going to be the first thing that has to go. And not that he's, it's never that he's done a bad job, but you just didn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
And what is this? His 5th season with the Knicks?
Yeah.
How long do we want to be in this with this status at this status? And that's in like I said yesterday, Mike Malone is out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Taylor Jenkins, you got Mike Brown, you got a bunch of people, over there who would love to have that team. So do you say we go all in and go get Giannis, or we bring in a different coach and see if they can figure out how to get this team over the hump? If I'm who is it, Dolan? If I'm Dolan, I'm going that route. I don't know if I pull the trigger on Giannis, even though, if you could, when you could get a top 3 player or whatever, like you go get him.
Would you wait for like a mid-season trade maybe then in that case, like to where you could see how the Giannis thing plays out if he doesn't get traded in the offseason, you like try to see, swing for the fences in the season? Or
I think I would do it in the offseason, but I don't know. I just don't know if I would rush to it. I would keep a very, very close eye on him. I'll be in contact with his agent, all summer. I probably fly out to Greece or wherever, Fresno, wherever Giannis is at, just to stay in touch, man. But that's the nigga. The Knicks are in a good place.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
If they lose this game 5, I don't know. I don't know how. I think things turn upside down.
Yeah, because it's their best shot. We talked about it last night. They got through the Celtics.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That was a challenge.
Yep.
Philly was out because Embiid was out.
Yep.
The Heat not the same.
yeah.
Milwaukee's not the same. This was your shot.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough. Game 5 is a must win. Well, obviously, because they'll get eliminated, but it's also a must win for their pride.
Yep.
Like, y'all didn't win out. Like, I didn't even think of that, Mark. Like, y'all didn't win one game. MSG, unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Unacceptable.
And man, and I guess we can wrap this thing up, man. I guess we put the word out there. Game 5 is a must win. They gotta win. It ain't even about winning the series. None of us think, oh yeah, I guess I gotta, submit, throwing the white flag, yeah, or the white paper. It is over. I am no longer picking the New York Knicks to go to the finals. It is I am officially switching sides. I was wrong. Forgive me, Mr. Tyrese Haliburton and Aaron Smith. He and him did their thing today. Went up 3-1, just like the OKC Thunder over there, 3-1. And we expect that game to be closed out tomorrow. And we'll be talking about it tomorrow. Everybody that's watching right now, we appreciate you guys tuning in, liking, viewing, and sharing our content. Until next time, this is the closers. Mark Haynes, Dalen Mason, the Dog Jelani. We all in here and we are out.
Peace.